Your job is just to deliver the message. You cannot force them. You leave it. They start attacking you continuously. What do? What? Good. You pull back. First, before pulling back, you just have to endure it. And then after that, they keep on attacking you. And then what do? Exactly. You pull back. So now you're starting to think. You must follow the sunnahs of the Prophet. You make hijrah. Now, you make hijrah meaning physically, not physically, mentally, in other ways, so you pull back. You don't get yourself involved. Don't open yourself up to that. Pull back. Still, they're attacking you now, even when you make the hijrah, even when you pull back. Still, that time you have a right to stand up to defend yourself. You're not there to try to change their minds. You understand? Saying that I have the truth, now I have to show you the truth. No, it's not. Most people, there is a special kind of hate that they reserve for awliyas. Huh? Correct or no? Muslims, people, they may hate shaitan, they may hate other things, they may hate the system, but there's a special hate that they have for the friends of Allah. Muslims I'm talking about. You understand? With that special kind of hatred, that special kind of stubbornness, the best that you can do, especially if they're very close to you, is just draw a line and say, don't cross this. We can get along. You're not trying, you don't cross that line, trying to change them, trying to convince them and everything, don't. You understand? Just draw the line and say, you don't attack their beliefs. You don't say, I never heard anyone attacking them anyway. They would always be attacking you, but you must draw that line. You say, once they start attacking you after you draw that line, you recede or you pull back and everything, then you say, then you have the right to defend yourself. You understand? But the way that you defend yourself too, it is not because you've gone through all of that time trying to hold your anger back. Now is not the time for you to let loose all of your anger. It doesn't work that way. You understand? You're not pulling your ego back so that the time will come, now you're going to let your ego to completely run wild. Because you pull it back, so now you must satisfy it by running wild. People are doing that with fasting. They pull their ego back so that when the iftar comes, they can they can dive into it. But you know, even physically, you cannot keep up. Even with the iftar, physically, you remember, you don't have no spirituality, nothing. You cannot keep up. Maybe 1, 2, 3 days. You enter into 1 week, you cannot keep up because the stomach gets smaller, because your relationship with the food is changing also. Something else kicks in. So you don't. You'll lose. It's not like those. There's no such thing in Islam, for example. They have this thing, some societies in the West, some groups, they say, okay, first we must fight according to certain code. We have code of chivalry. Okay, you must do this, you cannot do this. They believe in that kind of thing, a little bit, you know. But once we pull out this flag, then there's no Sharia. They call that, I don't know what they call it. What? No, knockout punch. They're pulling out, raise the dragon, they call it, the British. I mean, once they show that flag of dragon, they say, now we are like dragon. Their idea of dragon is, now we destroy everything. There's no Sharia. There's no right or wrong. You're an enemy. We can do anything that you want. There's no such thing like that in Islam. You understand? There's no such thing like that with you. Don't try to confuse it. Well, what about the Muhammad al-Kubra? What about it with Hazrat Mahdi alayhi salam? That's completely different. That time you're not acting with your own. It's not about you. So, don't bring up the subject. Don't talk. They talk about that, talk about something else, what they want to talk about. When it gets to be so heavy, because they always bring it there, then don't talk. Pull yourself back. Understand? What are you going to defend yourself? In these days, never forget, the Prophet ﷺ is saying in these days, what? It is better to be a what? A martyr than a murderer. You understand? Pull back. So, this is exactly what is happening to the people, to Muslims now. Don't try to be a murderer. May Allah not test us. We are very weak ones. May Allah make it easy. Fatiha.